Good afternoon. I hope you had a great Shabbos. This week's Torah portion is Vayishlach. Vayishlach means he sent, but it's the portion where we read about the epic confrontation between Jacob and Esau after a life of struggling and jealousy and hatred. And Esau trying to kill him, Jacob finally confronts Esau. And in a certain sense, we get from Jacob's encounter with Esau, we learn how to encounter anti-Semitism, how to fend it off, how to stand up to it, and how to be the greatest we could be. The first verse says, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim al Esav achiv. Jacob sent angels to Esau, his brother. Rashi, immediately the commentary, most prolific commentary on the Chumash, on the Bible that we find in every book, says, Malachim mamish. He sent literal angels, not just messengers, but he actually sent angels. The rabbis, the mystical, esoteric rabbis, find a deep meaning here. And the Rebbe spoke about this a lot. He said, what does malachim mamash mean? Mamash means literally, but mamash also means the mamashut, the physicality. Jacob sent the physicality of the angels to Esau, but the spirituality, the holiness, he left next to him. He didn't depart with that. When a Jew lives in exile, sometimes we encounter and we engage the world, but that's with our material self. Our soul has to always be pristine, has to always be pure, has to always be connected, has to always be proudly Jewish and in tune and sync with its spirituality. You know, but the next verse, Jacob says something else. He says to Esau, "In love on Garti, I lived with Laban, my uncle. Va'echar ad ata, and I procrastinated to come till now." The rabbis say, what was he trying to say when he said he lived with Esau? And the rabbis say he was saying a message that he lived with Laban. He was saying a message to Esau that was very important. He says, "In love and Garti, if you think you could cheat me, if you think you could hurt me, I already survived 20 years of Laban, my uncle, who cheated me, who lied to me, who tried to hurt me. And I'm able to fend that off just as I did then." But the word Garti, which means I lived, also is the numerical value in the Hebrew of 613, which is the commandments. And what Jacob was saying is, if you come with cheat and trick, I could be like Laban, but I also want to be the spiritual side of who I am and connect with my brother. You know, today in the Chabad world is the 10th of Kislev, which is the day the second Chabad Rebbe was released from prison in Russia. And you know, today we know what Russia does today, but back then, many of the Chabad Rebbes were persecuted just for one reason. The reason of being proud Jews and leading the Jewish community with pride, connecting them to Judaism. And it's a tremendous celebration because when these Rebbes were persecuted, if they didn't make it out, who would continue leading and nurturing and shepherding the Jewish people to be closer to God and to be proud Jews? I might have told you this before, but I had an uncle. Mendel Futefas was his name, my mother's uncle. Very close to our family. And he was sent to prison for being in the underground. This is in the 1945, 46, right after the war. And he ended up in prison with a bunch of white-collar criminals who were stripped of everything they had by Stalin. And they were down and depressed. And one time, one of them said to my uncle, "How come you're always cheerful? You're in prison under Stalin's rule." My uncle looked at them and he said like this, "Let me explain you," he says. He looks at one of them and says, "You, before you came here, you were a real estate tycoon. Stalin stripped you of everything. You have nothing left. The other one, you were a great professor, academia, in the most prestigious university. He stripped it from you and now you're nothing." And so on, he went through each person. He says, "Me, before I came here, I was a Jew who served God. And that Stalin could never take away from me. Even here in prison, I'm a Jew who serves God." Vayishlach Yaakov malachim. When we send the angels, when we engage the world, it's only with our physicality. But our spirituality, our mind, our heart are always in sync and connected to God, to holiness. And that's how we persevere against those who hate us. With our connection to God, with our pride in our Judaism, Hashem should protect us all. Have a great day.